Welcome to the RS2G podcast, where I motivate, inspire listeners by discussing failures, success, and the journey of a rebirth. If you are someone who wants to hear the honest truth from a host that puts his right hand to God, as I interview people who have built empires and sometimes watched them crumble as their lives have taken an unexpected twists and turns, this podcast is for you. Life is not always easy. And as a combat military veteran, active military for 14 years, I know about sacrifice and facing fears and true loyalty. I can't wait to take you on this rebirth journey with myself and my guests as we discuss life and living with your right hand to God. Boom. What's going on? Welcome to the RH2G podcast, where we inspire and motivate. We got a very special guest today, Rich. I saw Rich, a little quick story, walking up in the neighborhood, man, and he's just doing his thing, and I had to stop him and asked him, Rich, what do you do? You look like you do a lot of things. And Rich told me that he was a realtor. So, that's common knowledge for a lot of people out here. But when I looked at your social media following and what you're able to bring to the community, I was like, wow, and I was inspired. So I wanted to bring you on because you are such a big staple right now in the community of Sarasota, Venice, Osprey, all that community that you sell a lot of property, man. Can you tell the world where you're from, Rich?
Yes, I'm originally, like a lot of people from Sarasota, I'm from someplace else.
Yeah.
But I am from Rochester, New York, which is a way up there, up near Buffalo. So
Buffalo, yeah.
Repping the Bills, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It'll be next season. We've been saying it for a long time.
Yeah.
But Rochester, New York, born and raised. I was only gone for a few years when I was like you in the military.
Okay.
I was in Pensacola, Florida.
Okay.
Fell in love with the golf, put me back in Virginia Beach, and then back to New York I went.
Okay.
But we're now down here in sunny Sarasota. I'm loving it.
There we go, man. I love it too, man. You got such a good energy about you. Where did you develop like your business savvy? Because you just have that good force field around you that you can handle yourself in a good vicinity of business. Tell me about it.
So, it's I think it's been through a little bit of adversity, and just kind of finding out what my gifts are, and kind of learning from those and leaning into that,
Right.
And it's brought me where I am here. So it's been a journey, but an interesting one. But it's been one that's, I think it's really shaped me into being the person I am, that's going to be ripe for the opportunity that I'm trying to create here for myself.
Definitely, you and your family, man. How was it growing up as a kid? Because you seem like you had a lot going on in your head too. So how was it growing up trying to curate them informations and put that out there in the force field? So
it's I was one of those. I didn't do well in school, not because I couldn't, but because I didn't apply myself. I was bored, kind of always looking at something else, right?
Okay.
So I kind of, school wasn't my thing. I got out early,
right?
And tried construction type labor out for a few years, and then decided I wasn't gonna be a college kid. So the Navy took me and and they shaped me up a little bit, gave me a haircut, and put me on the right path. And then from there I went into to corporate America, but I was always I didn't really like rules growing up. And so, so the Navy was an interesting time for me, but it was a lot of fun. It was something I needed a lot. And so then to come out and do it with corporate America, I didn't like the constraints. So going into real estate was in my blood. My mother's been a realtor since I was 2. So,
wow. So you got that in your blood.
So I kind of saw it anyway.
Right.
So when I got out of the military, I thought about getting into real estate right away. And she was like, nah, get a stable, secure job with benefits. And I was like, okay. Couple layoffs between my wife and I ended up in real estate, and she's doing her thing, and so that's how we got where we are, man. But it's been fun. It's been a good journey.
First of all, I want to tell you thank you for your service, and
thank you. Appreciate
the time that you spent in the military that brought you here, and of course that we all went in around the same time to get developed. I was in the Army, you was in the Navy, to get developed as young men and come out to who we are now, and it's very astonishing because the world doesn't see that. A lot of things that the military go through to develop to who you are today. And the Navy had a big impact on what you're doing right now as far as discipline, I see.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now, you walk your 2 to 5 miles every night, I see you.
I try to.
All the time, I see you. So you're very disciplined. And with your videos and things that you're doing for the community as far as real estate, you're very involved. Can you tell the world about that too? Yeah,
man. So really what it boiled down to is, So I've been selling real estate in Rochester, New York. I own a small brokerage there. I've been doing it for 10, 11 years or so.
Okay.
When I got into it, I had gotten home from the military, did corporate America for a few years, and then got laid off a few times. And it was like, okay, I'm not going to keep relying on somebody else for a job. I'm going to go create something for myself.
Right.
And so I got into real estate, and it it started going well. People knew who I was. I was hammered social media. Real quick backstory. So when I got into real estate, my wife had just had our daughter. So she was 6 weeks old. My wife had a little boutique in the city of Rochester. My wife's from Thailand, so she was importing women's fashion accessories. So she gets offered a job one night, and I was like, you can't take that. What are you going to do about the store? I was working. And then I got laid off the next day. So we switched. She took a job. I went in to run a women's fashion accessories boutique with my 6-week-old daughter behind the counter in a bassinet.
Wow.
And I just started hitting social media. Hey, everybody, I'm doing real estate. Can I send you some business cards? Can I just mail you something? Like, just start to build the database.
Right.
And that's how I built my business. It was on relationships. So coming down here, I had a very few relationships, and a few of those people were also realtors. So they're not going to be a great source of business for me, right? So I've embraced the move to Florida is kind of like a very big learning, kind of get uncomfortable type of experience that you could only come out the other side far more successful, because the alternative's not, like, failure's not an option, right? So I've got a wife, I've got a daughter, you know, I've got my own goals. So it's like, okay, this is going to be a really uncomfortable learning, growing experience, and it's proving to be. It's been fantastic.
And what I heard you say too, as far as business, because you threw a lot of business intellect in there, and that's what we do on this podcast. We talk about, I want to spotlight your mindset, your why, what you're doing now. And you said, you know, what key word is networking too. So that's how we met, is networking, and I see you do a lot of that. And a lot of kids don't understand, because I try to spotlight to the kids. I'm not talking to the grown-ups because they don't want to change their ways. But if you network to the right people, it will open up doors for other doors. And a wise man always told me, JR, when you do things, it's an interview for the next progress. And that's what I told my engineer when I first met him. His name is Elias. Don't blink. Like I told him, you know, a lot of kids his age are blinded by a lot of things that social media is doing, right? But, and a lot of people cap, hey, I know this person. And when I met him, I didn't tell him anything. We just talked, and he did my thing, and I played the background, and I want to do a podcast, and I'm doing it, until he got in the field with me. He got on the road, and I started to introduce him to these very influential people that can inspire him to do what he's doing now. He's off and running with all these different YouTubers through networking.
Beautiful.
And he has a beautiful spirit. He has a good character. You know, some people you can't teach, but he was very teachable. But as far as networking, that's how we was able to network. And I just introduced you to the lady who owns this facility right here through networking, through Realtor. And I'm happy to even network with you, because you have such a broad brass of information in Sarasota already, and you ain't been there 10 years.
No, I mean, I've been down here a little over a year and a half, right? So, the strategy is, so I'm new to a market, right? So there's a few things you can do as a realtor. You can, jump on somebody's team that maybe has already established a brand and help them and build their brand. And if that's an option. It's a great option for a lot of people. Right. You could also, go out there and just spend an awful lot of money on advertising in order to build the brand recognition, and the brand awareness, which, it has a cost, right? Or you can, try to find, or network, but it takes time to network, to get to know people. Because people don't, you don't just walk in, hey, meet me, and now we're going to be good acquaintances, right? So what I thought about is, like, really, as a real estate agent, most people don't care. They don't want to hear the top 5 things to get your house ready for, like, that's been done. It's been overplayed a lot, right? The top this or the, like, it's always real estate related, right? Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. So that stuck with me. So these are the video stuff I'm doing now, is a lot of jabs into the community. It's going out and just saying, hey, you business owner, you person of interest, you place of interest, can I just come in and highlight you? Right. And when you call people and ask them that, and they're like, we don't, have it, they start thinking you're trying to sell them something. I'm like, no, I just want to come out and showcase you. I just want to tell people about what's going on in this community, both for people that are thinking about moving here, and also for a lot of people that maybe have been here for a long time, and you live in a community, get the blinders on, and you don't see what's springing up around you. So it's good to get more, more information out there and highlight.
It's a good little niche and a business plan that you have like that, just to get out there. And I saw it. And Gary Vee also said, people, when I was criticizing me when I was doing my videos, like, hey, you made a mistake here, you do this. And Gary Vee said, throw out the cranberries. Throw it out. So now I have no fear of making a mistake, because I think life is a mistake. So go ahead and throw all that information out there. People are going to judge. But long as it's out there for someone to get the information. And when I watch your videos, because I'm a fan of you, and I watch your videos and I see you go highlight different venues, small businesses, because I own the business. So that's dear in my heart when you go spotlight people who don't think they're spotlighted at all. Sure. But these people are helping the community, like you told me about the bagel place, right?
So, croissant company.
the
So
croissant company.
I shot the episode with them this morning. It'll be out in the next week or two.
Yeah.
But awesome couple. He's from France. She's from the UK.
Wow.
They moved here because of their daughter. And they've opened that little place. It was right on the main strip on the island
In Venice.
Yep, in Venice, right there. And they've just recently moved over to the Publix, a complex, whatever you call it, plaza over there, and a little more space. I was kind of like, where anytime you move a business, especially like in a tourist area like that, you move it,
right?
But instead, it's like it looks like their business is flourishing.
Man,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
And this stuff is top notch. And if you like butter, man, I'll tell you the butter they have there is out of this world.
Is it off of Tamiami? That road?
It's right. If you come if you're coming from us down, you hop onto the north end of the island, the main drag there.
Yeah.
It's on the left-hand side, that Publix Plaza down there.
Maybe I'll go with you one day to check it out.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I want to go check it out.
And they've got amazing other stuff as well.
Okay, yeah.
But the new space is gorgeous. I was really proud of them, real happy for them.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Also, man, tell me, man, like what like we talk about, I'm a motivational speaker.
Yep.
And I like to curate ideas and even get energy off my guests. What motivated you to come here? Because you drove from Sarasota, and then what motivated you just to do what you're doing now? Because you're doing more than just real estate. You're touching the community now. You're not. Sometimes when you go spotlight these people, you're not trying to sell them anything. You just let me tell some people about you.
That's true.
There it is. So what motivated you to do that?
It's so interestingly. So when we first moved, so I take a backstory. In New York, during COVID, one of the motivating factors for getting out of New York is we'd put our daughter into a small private Christian school called Charles Finney School, which we loved. It was fantastic, K through 12 small Christian school. We moved down here, we put her into Sarasota Christian School, another K through 12 small Christian school. Right. It's been fantastic for our family for many, many reasons. Right. But last year during Lent or whatever, she comes home with an assignment. They wanted the kids to take like some sort of like a technology break, right? And then there was a thing on the bottom, like if you want to challenge one of your parents to like join in. So my daughter's like, well, Dad, will you do it? I was like, look, I can't take a break from technology. It's what I do. Right. I was like, but listen, I'll not listen. I'll only listen to the news or any talk radio for 1 hour a day. I used to consume a decent amount of it. Right. So I was like, because I'm driving around showing houses, right? Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break for 30 days. Right. So I was like, okay, what do I feel like? More music. I love music. Right. But then I was like, let me start trying to maybe listen to some entrepreneurial content. And in doing so, I found some really fantastic people, Ed Milet being one of those people. And one of the things he hit on is if you're pursuing your God-given talent, then you're going to succeed. Like that's what it's about, right? Yep. And so like I'm comfortable. I got comfortable on camera. I'm inquisitive. I like interview. I like highlighting people. Right. And so I was like, this might just be the thing I've just got to lean in on. Right. Like it's not instant reward, right? It's not, an advertisement. Right. It's just about building community and showcasing it. But I think it's the long play. Right. But I think it's the right play.
No, it's the right play, definitely, because I do a lot of research, and I heard DDG say on one of his interviews that when he started doing his YouTube channel, he put out 365 videos, and for a year or two, it didn't take off. One video took off and exploded the whole YouTube. And that's what God told me to do this year, JR. Make 365 videos, do 25 episodes of your podcast. And I want to tell the kids, too, all the time I talk about that. When you're being an entrepreneur and you have a vision and you want to start something from nothing, have a day job. Then have a passion and have a gift. My gift is speaking. I speak life into people, but my passion is definitely security. But at the end of the day, you want to have them things as a trifecta because you can't do one without the other. You want to make sure that it's all tied into one. And that seems like that now you have your gift now. Yeah, you're a realtor and that's your day job, but your gift is going to go highlight other people like I'm highlighting you. Sure. And that's special because when I told you that I did a podcast, you was like, yeah, I do it. And then when I told you the date, like months later, you was like, yeah, I'm ready. Then I told you 2 weeks ago, I was like, Rich, I want to get you on now. You was like, all right, let me check my schedule. And I'm blessed to have you here because
Thanks,
I like
Happy to be here. Blessed to be here.
Definitely. And I like to get different people's personalities and personas on my platform. Sure. So we all like-minded. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Have you watched the movie Green Lantern?
No, I'm bad with movies, man. I'm terrible with movies.
So if you watched the movie Green Lantern, we thought there was only one Green Lantern. Yep. But every species had a Green Lantern. Okay. And everybody shined. And when they met up, this water bottle represented all the water bottles of Green Lanterns. The humans had one. The other species had Green Lanterns. And I feel like that's what entrepreneurs are. We are just a spotlight from a product of our environment, where we come from and what we're able to do. And that's it. So,
yeah, man. It's it's a rush. It's like it's sometimes it's not fun. I think it's more mental than anything else.
Right.
So, it's definitely more mental than anything else.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes when those bad days hit, you got to make sure you're like focused on doing what you got to do to make sure you get back to the good days.
Exactly, man. You got if there's a lot of bad days in business and entrepreneur, and a lot of people think the glamorous side of entrepreneur. I'm gonna make some money. I'm gonna take my mama and put her in a house. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make some money. But you forgetting the precursors. There will be failure. Totally. And if you don't prep yourself for failure, when you do fail, it's going to be the hardest thing in life. And I know once I went through my situation with my bankruptcy and I had to file for bankruptcy with my security company, people don't understand as veterans, when we start something and we cling on something after the military, that's our baby. That was my baby. So I tried to take care of it and nurture it and thought people would love it like the way I did, but they didn't. So when I went through that disaster, it went connected to me mentally with my mental health. And I thought that I didn't no longer deserve to do anything for my country or be here. So it started to attack me from the inside out. So people don't understand, us as veterans, when we do something with our whole heart because our mental is involved.
Sure.
A lot of people out here are doing things and they're not even mentally connected because they just, throwing stuff at the wall. Us, if we love it, I love this podcast. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be on time. I'm going to coordinate with my engineer. I'm going to make sure you're good because I know in the long run, when it catches fire, people are going to go back and say, he's been doing that. This is what, I'm saying? This is what he's been talking about.
Sure.
And that's what you've been doing too.
Yeah, and at the same time, I also like if you look at my YouTube channel, I didn't scrub any old content. Like I've left all the old, crappier versions of stuff that I've done up.
Can we look at it?
Oh, dude, you can pull up. You can look at like.
Let's look at the YouTube. Real quick.
Dude, you can pull it up.
Yeah.
It's
you brought that up.
Some of the oldest videos, and so yeah, I mean the new stuff looks fantastic because I've got fantastic talent on it now. But some of the I shouldn't say that. Sorry, yeah, it just launches right into it.
Yeah.
From Long Beach, California, born and raised, now live in Sarasota, retired military. I'm a motivational speaker, and that's really big going on right now. And this content creator studio that Jen and Betsy has made is going to be very influential in the community and what's going on right now. Kids and everybody's going to join in with content and come here and leave. Just like the rappers have their studios, we have our studios now. I'm the #1 free agent motivational speaker. Catch you later.
Which one you want us to
Dude,
watch?
if you click on, if you go click on videos, you can scroll all the way to the bottom.
Okay.
And I started doing these ask a realtor stuff, and I shot a bunch of these.
Yeah.
And then I did a little bit of that. And actually, I did a thing. So Rochester, New York is called, it's 585,
right.
like 941, down here in SRQ. So I did this thing like 585 Rocks,
right.
ROCS, which is and I started interviewing like restaurant owners and stuff like that. I started doing it way back then because I knew the concept would work. But my wife's like, look, I can't just keep doing this for you. It's like too much work. I have a full-time job.
Right.
But it sat for a while. Okay. And then when COVID hit New York, you couldn't do anything at all. So my wife's like, why don't you just take a camera? You can only go to the public park anyway. So I would take my daughter and we'd go out and walk around the park. It was a lot of fun, man. So like there's some early COVID videos of my daughter and I just walking through, and I would go home and edit it and try it. I was like, okay, I can kind of figure this stuff out. And then it all went kind of from there, man.
Definitely. Show me one of your videos that you...
Here, click on videos real quick, right here. You want one of the new ones or one of the old ones?
Give me one that one of your best ones.
I mean, this one's fantastic. This is the most recent one I just posted, Palma Coffee.
Let's see it.
Sarasota secret cup of coffee. Stick around and find out. So out of the many new discoveries I've made here in Sarasota, I've got one today that I'm extremely excited to share with you. Today we're going to be with Manny and Amanda from Palma Coffee here on Tamiami Trail, centrally located in Sarasota. Come on in, check them out.
Like a couple minutes, right?
Right. I love it. It's a good visual too.
Keith is incredible.
Okay. It looks like the mission's a bit deeper than just making exceptional coffee for folks. Tell me a little bit about what you guys have going on.
For us, it's all about the coffee. So it really starts at origin with the producers. We love traveling. We have traveled quite a bit, and we saw ourselves just looking for ways to continue to travel. And coffee is a very good socioeconomic engine for both sides, for the producers themselves, but also for us because people need coffee. People need coffee, and in Sarasota. There's like a certain standard. I think that the palate for coffee is a little more elevated here. that's why you see there's a few coffee shops over here, and everybody's very receptive to
That's awesome.
what we do.
And one thing I love that you guys
so
do,
it's
you
like-
guys give out some
I
information.
love that.
on
Yeah,
coffee.
definitely.
like that?
Yeah, definitely. You can pause it. I love that because what you're doing is not only are you shedding the spotlight, you letting the business owners know that you care about them and that if you bring one new customer, I guarantee you they appreciate it because I didn't know that was there, and I
Sure.
live in Sarasota.
I know.
So now I love coffee. And I love
incredible.
coffee, so I would love to go there and check out their coffee. It looks like it's a good environment to sit down and just yeah.
It's a little alley, so you got to. That's why I say it's a secret cup of coffee because
Right.
it's back in there.
Yeah.
It is a cool thing. So I send the video to the owners like, hey, if you want this to post it on yours too, like
Yeah.
just post it. I'd be thrilled if you tag me in it.
Wow.
But just go ahead because for a lot of people to pay someone to come in and do this,
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's not
No.
inexpensive,
No.
and a lot of them don't, especially the ones starting out, stuff like that. I know how it is. My wife had a boutique.
Yeah.
I know what it's like starting a small, especially retail type or little food service store. It's like it's tough.
Exactly, man.
There's not you got to sell a lot of coffee.
You got to sell a whole lot of coffee, though.
And I see why they're doing it though, because
Yeah,
that's damn good coffee.
Definitely. And how do you find these places, these locations
I
in
just keep
Sarasota?
going. You know what it is? I started initially. I wanted people that had a good presence on Instagram, so I started looking up stuff places I'd been to that I liked.
Right.
I started following. Hey, I'm doing this thing. You guys interested in participating? And whoever responded first, I've just been kind of getting through them.
Okay,
it's been,
wow.
It's been a lot of fun.
And you do this for free. That's I love it because
Yeah.
you're putting your energy out there, your information and stuff. I love that. And
Well, I got to give a shout out because my broker, Preferred Shore, man,
Yeah.
they're behind the mission of amazing content creation.
let me tell you something. Look into this camera right here. Give a shout out to your brokerage and how we can find your brokerage and how we can find your social media. That camera right there.
So my brokerage,
Yeah, your brokerage and the one that you were shouting out and your what you're doing, your company and your social media.
Yeah, so I'll give a shout out to my broker, Preferred Shore. They're behind some of the amazing content creation that I've been able to put out about the local community. If you want to check out some of the content that I've got going on, go to Instagram at The Rich Tyson. I think it's at The Rich Tyson, right? YouTube, you can find me there. But if you even just go to richtyson.com, you'll find a link to everything there.
Definitely. And you guys, you heard it here. Rich is good in Sarasota, but he's a real estate agent, but also he understands the leverage of business and what he's doing for the community. And you're going out there finding the diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, man.
And I know that I would like to go see stuff like this because I don't go out and search for things like this, but I would love to watch. I watch your channel now. I'm going to go to all these little places that you're finding because I like to go pay homage to the moms and pop stores that's out there that's really small business owners that, hey, you know what? One number hurts. One number improves the business. So if you can make sure that they get their business one new customer or 10 new customers, it's a good day for them.
Totally.
Right.
It's fantastic. And it's like, the neat thing is you do something like this and every time you walk in, there's a warmth and a smile between the party. It's so it feels really good to go back because they're totally thrilled with how it came out. I'm thrilled with how it came out.
Right.
So it's there's just a new warmth, a new friendship that's kind of created there. So it's really special. I like it.
Definitely. And I want to go backwards, man, when you was talking about your military service. How many years was you in the military?
Just 4, man.
Just 4 years, okay.
I had a pretty boring, I joined the Navy to see the world and I was on a boat one day and that was Lake Ontario in upstate New York on my buddy's sailboat at the time.
Yeah.
I was shore duty the whole time. Pensacola, Florida, NAS Oceana, AIMD. Yeah, I was sitting in an air-conditioned room, Swaptronics, man. It was not as exciting as you had.
No, it's all good. We all did our time in the military to, be part of a team. So, I just want to, let the world know you served your country regardless of what you did. And, a lot of people don't take them steps, regardless if you sit in an air-conditioned room. A lot of people don't take them steps.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're scared for the unknown. But you took that step and you learned. What did you learn while being in the military?
Oh, man, I learned a lot. Well, I learned how a couple weeks can change a lot because I signed up in August of 01, a couple weeks ahead of September 11th.
Okay.
And then I left for boot camp on October 19th that year.
Wow.
So, it was this might be a totally different, thing than what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
And, like I said, I got pretty boring duty out of it. I learned a lot. I learned a lot in the military. I think what I really learned is individuals are individuals.
Right.
When you take everybody and you give everybody the same haircut, put everybody in the same uniform,
Right.
you quickly, all the other crap kind of disappears and you start to connect with people as people.
Right.
So I definitely came out of the military with some friendships of people that probably outside the military, we would have walked right by each other on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
find
I'm
that
saying?
interesting too, because I know when I joined the military and basic training, there was a lot of people that I met that I didn't think I would ever meet in life.
Yeah.
And friends with to this day.
Yeah.
So it's very influential in the military because you meet people from all different types of walks of life from all over the world that join the military, and you guys are in basic training. You guys are in your units together. You guys are sometimes downrange together, and you gotta learn these people because you might roommate with them. You might be in the same platoon, same squad.
Some wild
and
stuff happens.
There's another JR in another country right there, right? So because that's how you become friends, because you see something of yourself in that person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, that I can make that person my friend. And I made a lot of good friends in my 14, 15 years in the military.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
A lot.
One of my best friends, actually, he lives up in Jax, Beatty.
Okay.
And tall, skinny black dude. He and I, the two of us were stuck kind of like within the shop off to the side working on the equipment that tested the equipment off the planes, right?
Wow.
So it was like, and we were C shift, so we were there all night.
Right.
And it was just the two of us back there. We used to Ebony and Ivory, man, but we used to just laugh our asses off. Actually, I was in his wedding a number of years ago. He flew me down to Jacksonville for a summertime wedding. I was like, "You trying to kill me out here in a tux outdoors?" And we laughed because it was a wedding party. It was like 5 of us. It was like 2 white dudes and 3 black guys, and they had these like salmon colored ties.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dude, this is like I disappear in this thing.
Yeah.
What are you trying to do to me?"
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I love that dude. He's fantastic. We can go months without talking, a year without talking. We pick up the phone. It's like we're sitting back in the shop together.
That's good, man. And that's how it is too, man, with the military. Like my guys that I did a lot of good things with overseas and downrange, and I could call them and we don't have to talk every day. Yeah. And when we talk, you know, it's like we never left. We have and then a lot of us have a chat room of like 17 gentlemen.
Yeah.
And we send prayers to every morning, and we talk about the things we got going on. So, you know,
That's cool.
in life and mental health and stuff like that. So that's your support group, your network, and that's who he is for you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's part of it. And then it's good. You got to have as a man, you've got to have those groups to tap into.
Yeah, you got to.
I've got a small men's group at church that I go to every other Wednesday. We catch up for a couple hours in the evening.
Definitely.
Guys that are quite a bit older. I'm the youngest one in there. We kind of laugh about it, but but it's a great group of guys. A lot of good perspectives and just good energy. It's really fantastic.
Definitely, yeah. That's how it's supposed to be too. You got to have your tribe, man. Your tribe. And where the rest of your friends at? Are they in New York?
My other very closest friend, he's from Rochester as well. He moved years ago. He moved down to Virginia when I was stationed there for a while. He took a little time off after college, but he ended up back up in New York City. He's been there for, I think, 15, 16 years. Okay. And so, but we talk a lot, actually. A lot of times when I'm on my walk at night, if you see me and I'm like pointing at my AirPods when I go by the house, it's usually I'm on the phone with him because a lot of times we both go out after our families have fallen asleep. Okay. And then we go out. He's walking, Midtown Manhattan, and I'm walking the neighborhood.
Right. Yeah. So definitely.
But it's a good relationship.
I see you always doing your walks too, man. And I know it's more than just cardio. It's a thought process. It's you're putting together plays for the next day, and that's how I am at the gym. My gym is kind of like my external office. When I'm there, I'm working out and I'm taking care of my mental health and my muscles, but also my business mind is going. And I'm answering questions. I'm looking at emails. I'm looking at ideas, and I'm being explosive in my thought process of how I'm going to attack the next business situation. And I see that with you when you walk in. You have you on your phone. You have your earpiece on, and you're doing your thing. But you're not only doing cardio, you multitasking.
Yeah, try to do something for your brain too, right? Whether it's a conversation with somebody or listening to something that's inspiring or enlightening. Right. Yeah, man, it's fantastic. It feels good at night.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, sometimes it's too hot during the day down here.
Yeah, although really hot, but it's been cool out where we've been at. Though.
I know.
Yeah, really cool.
I didn't think I was going to be wearing these North Face vests after I moved down here, but they're coming in handy when it gets below now like 72. I'm like, oh,
definitely. You
got to put that vest on.
Yeah, definitely. Man, where did you get your business savvy from? Because I hear a lot in your intellect and in your conversation. Where did you get it from?
It comes through. I went through so one of the first, I think, dominoes to fall for me in life in New York that really motivated me to be like, okay, I can't take anymore. I mean, I'd run for city council 13 years ago in Rochester. I ran as a Republican in a place that hadn't voted for a Republican since 1987, I think, or something like that. Right. So I'd tried to make an impact in the community politically because I saw there was a lot of problems in New York, especially in Rochester. There's a huge concentration of poverty. Right. And there's not jobs coming in that's going to solve it. Right. So you've got to do better with it, right? So I was like, okay, if I can't impact it politically, maybe real estate, I'll come in and impact it with housing.
Right.
So a buddy of mine at the time, we decided we went in and we started developing rooming houses in the city of Rochester. So helping people who are coming out of incarceration, homelessness, a lot of mental illness, that type of thing. And so we started developing these properties. We'd buy these big old houses, fix them up. We'd rent out the rooms. I mean, it was chaos. I mean, if you can imagine, we had 60 rooms across 5 different properties. And then at our maximum, we had 37 properties, about 97 units. And it was all for very low income people. Okay. 2019, the New York State Legislature passes, along with Cuomo, the Tenant Protection Act, which made it far more difficult to evict people if they stop payment. Right. Really no recourse other than a judgment. But you got people, they got felonies. They're not worried about credit scores.
Yeah, no.
And so it made it, and I started raising the red flag to legislators and everything, like, you're going to destroy low income housing. You're going to destroy the smallest guys that own the low income housing, not the big corporations, but the people that are trying to climb out of poverty. Right. With that one they buy the double. You start killing those people. Right. You're going to cut them all out, and all that stuff's going to shift up. Right. And I saw it coming like a freight train, and of course that's not going to happen. So I was like, I got to get out. So I started dumping them and just liquidated. Thank God I did when I did. But it was really disheartening to go through 3 years of building a portfolio that was supposed to generate a lot of income, and then to see that it was not going to be that case, and you got to like dismantle it. And so dismantling that, because it was all different financed at different, we had some with banks, some with private. So, it was like there was a lot of moving parts to it. So I had to dismantle a rental property portfolio. So I learned a lot in that process. And that was pretty disheartening. So I was like, I'm going to get licensed in Florida just in case. So that was the first domino to fall. And then schools pulling pay a lot of money for public schools you don't use. I was like, this is crazy. Right, definitely. So when my wife's employer said, hey, you can work from home forever, I was like, that's it. There you go. We're doing this. Yeah. We don't do it now, we're going to hate ourselves. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And our daughter will hate us if we do it in 5 years. Which is, when she's 15 and all of her friends are, she can start new friendships at 9. It's easier. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So all that just kind of, I guess, throwing myself to the wolves. Okay. It's been, I've kind of just had to learn along the way. And that's what brought you here, was not to say that the business failed, but it failed and you had to liquidate situations. So you already foresee what was going to happen. But if you didn't do that, you wouldn't be here in Sarasota today. I would have gone bankrupt. See? If I had not initiated the sales process on those properties when I did, because I did it when the market was still kind of high. Right. I didn't make anything. I mean, I had to write a check for like $15,000 to get rid of the last property. It was like the week after my birthday, my 40th birthday, it closed. I was like, it's the best birthday gift I ever, I'm done. I have no more. I couldn't do it. It was just like when people aren't paying rent. Right. And they don't stop paying, they don't charge you to stop property taxes. Right. Single family homes, if they use a bunch of water, they put the water bill on the landlord, not the tenant. So wow. I'd have people that just to be vindictive were like just running water, dude, like thousands of dollars in water bills. It got crazy. Was this after COVID? It was during COVID. It was before COVID, and then into COVID. Then they halted evictions. You couldn't evict anybody. Yes, yeah. I mean, think about that all over or just New York? I mean, I don't know. New York was one of the most egregious. Yeah. Yeah, they destroyed a lot of people that were starting to climb out of poverty. Wow. It was pretty disheartening. Wow. And I got attacked a lot. Because I was like a lightning rod. I mean, people were like, you're crazy. Because especially like the politics of it, it was like being a white landlord in a predominantly black and brown neighborhood. Right. They didn't want to hear from you. You're the bad guy. And I'm like, so I was just like, I don't care. I'd go out and talk to the news and just throw myself out there. I was like, well, what are they going to do? Because I was talking to a lot of, especially minorities and immigrants that were like, they're killing us. Mm-hmm. Like we were finally getting out or finally getting a foothold, right? And they're cutting our legs out. Like especially like immigrants that bought doubles and like they lived in one half, rented the other half out. They lose that income on the other half. They're like they're done. Yeah, yeah, man. So I had to be a lightning rod for that. So that kind of put me out there. And but sometimes you got to be, right. Yeah, and then a mirror of reflection on the other end. While you had that going on, I was one of them, and I wasn't like the ones you were talking about. But when I went through my bankruptcy, they seized my banks, and then I had 3 eviction notices on my rental property. And once they seized my bank, I can't pay no rent. So for like 4-5 months, they wouldn't even accept payment, and I couldn't pay. So after the bankruptcy finally went through, they relinquished all my bank accounts, and I was able. But
by then the rental property didn't even want to hear anything. They was going through the lawyer fees and stuff like that.
I can
wanted
see
to sue me. But when I had the bankruptcy, I was letting them know not only did I was going through that, and it wasn't my personal, it was my business, but I'm a disabled veteran. So I had nothing going on with this situation.
Yeah.
And I finally gave them back their property and moved to Sarasota, and then went through that litigation with them and all that situation. But showing people how business works with business bankruptcy. You didn't go through it as strenuous as I did, but I went through it. But I wish I had the notion to pull out before that, because I wouldn't be where I'm at now. But on the other side of that, God healed me and said, okay, get your stuff back together. I went to school for my master's, learned how to understand business, and now I'm in the position now to teach kids on how not to do that.
Sure.
The wrong thing, because I did a lot of things wrong, not saying me, but my hiring process and the team building and things I did. And I take full responsibility because it was under my umbrella, but at the end of the day, it taught me a valuable lesson. And now I'm here today, and that's why our paths cross, because if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't meet a Rich.
Yeah. If I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be here, man. And I'll tell you, I'm very happy to be here.
Right. And I thank you for coming, man. And like I said, I love your energy, man. And I just wanted to spotlight just your intellect and understand, man. Can you give us a rundown on how people can find you to if you want to sell them property and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I made it easy. If they want to, go to richtyson.com. From there, you can find, any of the social media you want to. You can watch videos, find the YouTube channel. But more importantly, just ways to connect. So richtyson.com, check it out.
Definitely. And Rich is one of the best realtors out there in Sarasota. So if you guys are buying in Sarasota, don't forget to contact Rich, and don't forget to ask him some questions too. If you have a business and you want it spotlighted,
sure,
if you have a business, hit up Rich on his YouTube and on his Instagram, and he will come out and spotlight his business. But tonight on my podcast, I'm spotlighting Rich, and I wanted to tell the world about him and what he's done. Rich, give us a little rundown too on the process of people trying to buying homes now, because we're hearing a lot about the interest rates and certain things like that. Can you give us a quick rundown, a quick 5-minute rundown on how the market is today and what you advise people or sellers to do, or buyers?
Yeah, so specific to the Sarasota market, so I still own a brokerage in Rochester, New York, which the markets are very different between the two right now. Upstate New York and a lot of other markets, there's still not a lot of inventory, so buyers really have to, wherever they're looking, they've really got to be, they've got to get pre-qualified, they've got to be ready to go, they've got to be willing to look past a lot of crap, to like get their offer accepted in a lot of cases. Sarasota area, there's a little bit more inventory than I think people would like to see, especially existing homeowners, because a lot of the existing homeowners are competing with builders right now, and builders are offering a lot of incentives, especially builders that have in-house lending, divisions. So they're able to offer closing cost assistance and other things. So if you are a buyer, if you're thinking about buying, getting pre-qualified before you start looking is always important to know what you're able to spend. But right now, I think this is a really great time to look at this area, because there's things aren't flying off the shelf like they are in other places. But just in general, I think for buyers, you've got to get with a realtor, me, and then I'll put you, if I don't take care of your area, I'll be sure to put you in touch with someone who will effectively do so. I always screen agents before I make referrals out to a new area. But if somebody just wants to ask questions about the process and understand, I'm happy to take calls from anybody. But get pre-qualified if you're not going to be cash, because once you've got the numbers in front of you, you feel comfortable about what it is out of pocket, what it's going to cost per month. The rest of it falls in place, because then it's just a matter of, okay, this is what I ideally want in a property. This is what I'm able to spend. Are we going to find, the one that I can, live with, or I'm going to be excited about? Ideally, you're in love and excited about it. Sometimes you just have to be satisfied with what you got.
There you go, man.
That's it, man.
I love it too, because you talk with so much inspiration, and you want to be able to help. It sounds like your clients, and you want to be able to put them in a situation. I bought my first house when the market was crashed in 2008.
Okay.
And people was telling me, first, if you're not married, don't buy. It was a lot of things that they were letting me know. But I bought in my 20s, And when I moved to Florida, I had owned the house for about 10 years. I sold it in 2018, which I think was one of my biggest mistakes because I didn't have anybody to manage my property.
Yep.
So the people that were living in it, I didn't have no middleman, no retrans site to be like, hey, I need this done, do this, do that. So I was calling from Florida to Texas, and sometimes days would go by. And so I was like, you know what? I need to have eyes on, but I'm not moving back to Texas. So I sold.
Sure.
Then I rented for about 5 years. And now I'm in the process of buying right now and looking around and wanting to use my VA loan for my house because now it's time for me to get my property back after the situation that I went through. And with renting, everything started off good, but when I went bankrupt, it was horrible. It was torture. It taught me a lot. I thought the police was coming to kick me out. Out of my rental situation because I had 3 eviction notice. I couldn't pay, and things were seized, and it was very bad. But when it turned good, I had to leave, and then I met you. But, I'm here right now, and I love what you're doing for the community. I want to tell you, keep doing it. And as a veteran, I respect you, and I would love to go around to these little mom and pops so we can spotlight it like we're doing tonight.
Yeah, man, absolutely, dude. Yeah. It's a pleasure to do so, right? Yeah. I feel like it's an honor to do it.
Definitely.
Highlight people, show people off, show what other good people are doing.
What's your next person you're going to highlight, next business? You have an idea?
We did a croissant company this morning. Okay. I've got some other ones I'd like to. I've got some big ones that I want to hit at some point, but I want to build some credibility. Okay. Sometimes you got to get there. And some of these I think I want to earn being able to do a longer feature on some bigger establishments in town that maybe wouldn't fit in 5 minutes.
Definitely.
But you're going to see me out there, man. You're going to see me out there. Some restaurants in downtown coming up. Some other people of interest in town. Not just places, but just some artists, some other people like that. Maybe we'll find you on there at some point.
Definitely.
You never know, man, right?
Yeah, I want to tag along, but also I have an event April 27th, and I'm speaking at that. And I would love for you to come in if you can come and spotlight some of the speakers and vendors that's there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, come and show your support and be there and put some stuff on your YouTube about other things too like that. Like I do motivational speaking and I speak to the community, I speak to the kids, I speak to different platforms, and it's going to be a lot of people networking in that situation, and I think it'll be good for you.
Yeah, man, I'd be happy to check it out.
Definitely. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it. We'll get our walks in and we'll do our talks like we do, and anything you want to leave the audience and the kids with before you leave. You can look in the camera and tell them any short story. I like to leave mottos. I like to leave little informational notes, tidbits that the kids can pick up and learn from.
Yeah, so here's what I would say is if you start looking at what feel like setbacks or adversity and you start looking at those as possibly a door shutting because a better door's opening and you just need to look side to side a little bit. That would be my biggest lesson that I wish I could have gone back and tapped myself on the shoulder years ago and taught myself. So just because the door is closing doesn't mean that there's not a much better door that's looking for you to find it. So keep your eyes open.
Definitely, man. You got to want it. You got to work it. You got to win it. And that's what I learned on one of these podcasts a few months ago. You got to want it. You got to work it. You got to win it. And that's the message that I'm giving out to the kids today. Work it, want it, win it. Do the 3 W's and you will get what you want in life, and always manifest it. I talked about this a long time ago, being on a stage like this, and now I'm here. I got the best producer. I got one of the best guests right here, and I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you again.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it,
Rich. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. We ended. Thank you.
Thanks, bud.
Capsule. They're mad 'cause he told the truth. That's why they mad.
My name is Dr. J.R. McIntyre. I'm a certified motivational speaker and a social media influencer, and I can't wait to teach you how to excel your real estate business on the LinkedIn platform. LinkedIn is actually the most underrated social media platform. In my class, Elevate Your Real Estate Success or LinkedIn Mastery, you will learn 3 key principles. Number 1, how to generate your high quality leads. Number 2, get personal branding and excellence. Number 3, strategic networking strategies. If you want to be a disruptor in the real estate industry, this class is definitely for you. I'll see you online, and I can't wait to take your LinkedIn profile to the next level. JR out. Boom.